So Audible? Okay. Guys, we discussed about the primary storage devices, RAM and ROM. I will see the secondary storage devices. Okay. Secondary storage devices means RAM and ROM, like a ROM having some BIOS program, right, which helps your system to boot, and it contains your system hardware information. Okay. Okay. And next is ROM, RAM. RAM is what are the program you open when you start your system. First instructions loading to your RAM only. So instructions and data loading to RAM, and it is given to the processor to RAM, and it is given to the IO controllers, right? So those are primary memories. RAM and ROM are primary memories. Then what is this secondary storage memories? Secondary memories are secondary storage devices. These secondary storage devices to store your some devices for storing your operating system, applications, and data. Some are only for storing data purpose. Some are for movable data, like external storage, like externally we can move the data outside, or some are internal storage purpose. Example of like a hard disk is generally we use it for internal hard disk, right? To store your operating system, applications, and data. Okay. So like you take a Pendrive. Pendrive is to store data externally outside of your system. CDROM, DVDs. We store the data. We read the data, write the data. So you can move the data from one place to another place. Okay. Secondary storage devices. So they are divided into three parts. This third one is a new one. Okay. So the old one is like a magnetic type of storages, optical storage devices, NAND type of storage devices. Totally three types. Magnetic type like hard disk, floppy disk, zip drives, tape drives. Out of that one, guys, tape drive still we are using. Okay. So of course, hard disk we are using for storing your operating system, applications, and data. Floppy and zip drives are removed from the market. Okay, almost all it's gone. Not almost all, it's gone from the market. Okay. Tape drives we are still using, not personal storage purpose, in organizations for storing their backup data. In organization level, cloud, backup purpose. Okay, data backup, storage purpose, we are using tape drives. Okay, it is a cheaper backup solutions. Other type of storages like optical storages. So we have a CD and DVDs, then Blu-rays are came. They physically look like same, but they are different in a different sizes of what is this. CD is around 700 MB, then DVD is a 4.7 GB. A double layer DVDs comes with the 8 GB size. Blu-rays, one single layer 25 GB, double layer is 250 GB data storage capacity. So once upon a time, like CD and DVDs also more popular to store our data and moving data, including movies, data store files kind of stuff, right? Then later it is because of flexibility storage came up, like pen drives came up. Okay, Gmail, Google Drive storages also increases. So easy to transfer mobile storages internally, SD cards. So obviously use of the CD DVDs become slowly less and less. So when a time of Blu-ray is released, it's very costly. The empty CDs or maybe empty Blu-ray disc or readers and writers, again you have to buy. So people don't want it. So it's not clicking in the market. Slowly CD DVDs gone from the market also. This Blu-ray disc also we are using, still we are using this Blu-ray disc we are using, but not directly. So yeah, if you are using any PS4, PlayStations, Xbox, PlayStation, that disc are there, no? That is a Blu-ray disc only to store the gaming data because it's a heavy and 4K based movies. It is SDR. So heavy content it is. So it is easy to fix in the Blu-rays. And another type of storage which we are not at all using for our organizations, but only for in our home purpose, organizational use, enterprise level, that is SCSI type. Means SCSI actually an adapter, small computer system interface. It is an interface card. To this interface card, you can connect a SCSI disk, SCSI CD-ROM, SCSI pendrives, SCSI scanners, like that we are attaching. Okay, SCSI is an adapter. To this adapter, we are adding a multiple disk for a higher storage capacity purpose. Okay. Normally in our regular laptops, desktops, and on motherboard, direct motherboards, like even server motherboard, support maximum SATA capacity is only 4. So 4 disks we can connect it maximum. Using SCSI, we can connect to 15, 25 type of disk we can able to connect it. Faster reading, writing is also available. So later this SCSI versions changes that SCSI interfaces, earlier parallel interfaces. Now serial interface SCSI disk came, that is called a SAS disk. Serial attached SCSI disk. This is directly inserted into the your servers or like a tower server storage arrays. Servers directly we can insert it, as well as storage arrays are there. We can directly insert the disk and we can store the data into the storage arrays for only enterprise purpose, not for our home purpose. Okay. And out of this, again, we know the SD cards. So mobile phones, including this digital cameras, also having these SD cards to record or store your data like pictures, videos, documents you can store in this. Okay. Pendrives. So it's a NAND memory means it is a chip type. Okay. Pendrives, eMMCs, these are all for storing the SSDs chip. Generally, guys, each and every component I show and explain, but we do not have that much time, and that much also not. Important one is the hard disk and SSD is a very important to understand. Okay, so that's why I add everything here. So, okay, once again, there is two in storages, like one is internal and another is external type. Internal storages, right? For what is internal storage purpose? To storing your operating system, applications, data. Okay. So what is internal storage devices? Like internal hard disk, SSDs, internal SSDs. Okay. eMMC chips for storing, which is actually inside your mobile phones, mini laptops, tablets. So where is, when you buy a mobile phone, so you see that 64 GB, 128 GB, 256 GB internal memory. So where that memory it is, eMMC inside your mobile phone, that's eMMC chip is there on the motherboard. So internally data storage. It is also SSD type on the chip type, NAND memory only. Okay. In our new laptops, desktops, including servers, we are using nowadays most of the internal memory purpose, mainly storing your operating system applications. We are using SSDs. In SSD also two interfaces, SATA interface SSDs, NVMe, M.2, M.2 type SSDs also available. Okay. Internal hard disk. So still we are using internal hard disk to store operating system, applications, and data. This internal hard disk, nowadays what we are using, SATA interface hard disk only we are using. In the olden days, we used SATA interface hard disk. These are internal purpose. And external storages. Generally, externally means you want to take a data and like a backup of data, a transferring purpose. Okay. Yeah, tell me. Someone trying to ask question. Okay, okay. I think so by mistake it is. Okay. Okay, to transfer the data or maybe instead of internally heavy data it is. So better we keep it in separately into the some external hard disk. Like pen drives, usually best easy to transfer, plug and play type it is. USB external hard disk are there. SD cards mainly for mobile phones and tablets purpose. Use SD card to store data separately outside of your internal memories. Okay, so these are the disks we are using. As I said, guys, there is a hard disk and SSD. You see the hard disk. Hard disk is a magnetic type of storage devices. It is also a mass storages. Means heavy data we can able to store. And it is a non-volatile memory. So this is the structure of hard disk. You see there is a disk kind of stuff that is called a plotter. It's aluminum, made up of aluminum alloy with a magnetic coating on it. It is supported and rotate based on the some spindle motor is connected to it. The motor rotates this platter. And there is a kind of needle structure you can see that is called accuter. This accuter moves to on the platter like left right kind of stuff. Tip of this accuter contains read and write header to read and write the data. Okay. This is called this is actually a permanent magnet. It's a accuter. It removes this accuter arm on this. So data is stored in this platter arm. This is the internal parts of hard disk, but this hard disk is connected to the motherboard for transfer of data from your system to hard disk to your system. So you are connecting your hard disk to motherboard. So in the earlier days, very earlier days, there is IDE type of interface. This is basically IDE technology and another is SCSI technology, two different things. In IDE based connectivity is IDE, AIDE, so 80-pin connector earlier. So later it is ATA technology came up. So it's IDE extension only. So that's why people call IDE as well as SATA extension because this advanced technology attachment, this technology, so initially with the PATA, parallel advanced technology. So it is a parallel bus we are using, 40-pin connector, ribbon cable, is used to connect from your hard disk to motherboard. Later, this in the advanced technology attachment, there is a serial advanced technology attachment came up. So that's data transmission connection changes to 7-pin simple single wire kind of stuff. And of course, this SATA, which is we are using nowadays, that is faster than olden days PATA. Current SATA version, as I know, it is the time SATA 3, it is almost 6 Gbps data transmission support is there. So this is IDE hard disk or a SATA hard disk. If you see, this is the 40-pin connector. This is the power connector from SMPS to hard disk power connector, this line, this side, and this is the data connector. So this is the ribbon cable, guys. You see there is a 2 points in one side is 1 point. So this is a single one, which is blue one that is connected to motherboard of your system. And there is 2 points, no? So this point, so we can connect to 2 hard disks or 2 CD-ROMs or 1 hard disk, 1 CD-ROM also, we can connect it. So like this 2 ribbon cable, 2 pointers also. So one side of this cable go to the hard disk, another side is go to the motherboard. Okay. So this is SATA based hard disk. The small one, you can see the small one, 7-pin type, that is a data connector purpose. Beside that one, there is a big pin connector that is for a power connector, SMPS to SATA hard disk connector. And if you see, this is the mid time, means, whenever the new technology came up and when it is going to transform and become a complete permanent into the market. So meantime, so there is a small of changes they will do it. Okay. So like this is an SSD which support both this Molex connector, 4-pin connector power supply as well as the connector, SATA pin connector. This is the power data cable. One side of the cable connected to the hard disk, other side of the cable is connected to the motherboard. So this is your hard disk interface, internal components, and hard disk interfaces, SATA and PATA interfaces. Okay, these hard disks, generally internal hard disks, are 2.5-inch hard disk, 3.5-inch hard disk are there. This 3.5-inch hard disk is used for desktop purpose only. Okay, desktop purpose only. 2.5-inch hard disk used for laptops and mini PCs, mainly laptops. For example, you have a 2.5-inch hard disk is there. You can use it for laptop as well as desktop purpose. Also, you can use it. Possibilities there. You can connect it and use it. But you have a 3.5-inch hard disk, you can use it for only for hard disk, not for that. So the compatibility connectivity is also important. So size important. Okay. So for your laptop, you want to buy a new hard disk, then check it 2.5 or 3.5, which is suitable for. Another is internal hard disk, but external hard disk also there, right? So you have as data in your system, you don't want to keep it in your system. Lot of data, I download lot of data from internet, okay, like operating system images, applications, some documents also will download. So it's become lot of data, a lot of thing in my system. So not required, no. So always is not read to be. So earlier days, compulsory. I have to carry and give lot of practical demos, classes I'm conducting. So that time it is required to be there. So of course, so now what I'm doing is, so my memory is completely full. So I can't keep all this data. I cut the data from my system and save into separate hard disk. Okay, which data is not required to be in my system. Backup. Another one is I have a data in my system, it's sensitive data. So I want to take a backup and store separately. I can take a backup and where is the location is external hard disk in my personal things. These hard disks also available in different sizes. Once I purchase the first hard disk is 320 GB hard disk, then 1 terabyte, then 2 terabyte, then 1 terabyte, then again 2 terabyte. Okay, because those many data is there. Transform heavy data. So you have a lot of data. So then you want like I have a downloaded 10 GB, one file is there. Someone wanted as I want to transfer to another system. So it's not easy 10 GB data to transfer to other system with any other things, to internet or kind of stuff, right? So it is easy with external hard disk. Copy into external hard disk, you can do multiple copies. Okay. So like that. That is about a external hard disk. Simple external hard disk. You can connect with a USB and connect it and start storing the data and accessing the data. Okay, that is about a hard disk. Okay, SSD, solid state drive, SSD, solid state drive. This solid state drive also called as NAND memory type. NAND memories means it is chip data, chip memories. Okay, data stores in the chip. Now hard disk data stores in the flash drive. Both are non-volatile memories. Hard disk SSD also non-volatile memories. Okay, non-volatile. Both are you for storage purpose, storing of your operating system, applications, and data purpose only. Okay. So now we do small comparison with the SSD to hard disk. Okay. So hard disk is it's like a magnetic type of memory. SSD is a NAND memory. So in a hard disk, data stores in platter. SSD data stores in the chip. And hard disk and SSD both are non-volatile and as well as used for mass storages to store your operating system application data. Okay. And compared to hard disk, SSDs are lighter weight, easy to carry, easy to transport, lesser power consumption, lesser power consumption, smaller the sizes, high speed data read and write, and high speed data transmission also. It is suitable for operating system and application for faster booting, means faster loading of an operating system, as well as faster loading of applications also. And I've written here, not suitable for storing regular data. Of course, you can store the data in SSDs also, guys. So why I written not suitable? Because of cost wise, there is a difference. Cost wise, there is a difference. Of course, I in the last I checked, it means when I see the when I that time when I read it, statement when I comparison of the cost, the 1 TB of hard disk is around 3,500 to 4,000 maximum cost. 3,000 to 4,000 cost depends upon the hard disk model and then 3,000 to 4,000. 1 TB of SSD is more than 10,000. More than 10,000. So almost all more than double the cost. So I took a, for my system, I took a 240 GB SSD and 1 TB of hard disk for the desktop purpose. So I want to store my operating system applications in SSD. So 240 is enough. So that is only a dedicated SSD for that. The hard disk, any extra data like virtual machine data, download data I want to store, I choose 1 TB of hard disk. Now both combined, what happened? It is 240 GB SSD when I purchasing it. That time it is 3,000. 240 GB is SSD is 3,000. 1 TB hard disk is 3,500. So it is very costly. Right. But of course, nowadays lot of products are released into the market. Okay, SSDs, lot of SSDs are came into the market, different manufacturers as well as right different products. Lot of UV products are available with a lot of heavy discounts. You are getting these SSDs with the normal prices. Earlier it is very costly, now almost now. So like maybe 200, 500 difference. So almost all we are getting equivalent cost on them with small differences. Okay. Even SSDs, two interfaces, guys. SATA interface SSD, it's compatible with the SATA interface hard disk also. Okay. So you have a SATA interface hard disk, you want to replace or you want to connect it to the SSD, you can connect it. Yeah. Next, M.2. M.2 SSDs, NVMe M.2 type. These SSDs are costlier than SATA interface SSDs and faster than SATA interface SSDs also. These SSDs not required to cable to connect it, it's directly connected on the motherboard. The motherboards uh, having a slot, motherboards having a slot as a laptop or a desktop motherboards having these slots. Certain motherboards only compatible, not all motherboards having, only certain motherboards having this NVMe M.2 inserting SSD slots are available. Directly are inserting on the motherboard means it's direct interface, not required cables. So obviously it is much faster also possible, right? And you see there is a different models also there in this NVMe P2, P3 models. If you compare the speed difference between SATA interface SSD to NVMe M.2 type of SSD, so P2 model is around four times faster around 4 times faster. P3 model is around 10 times faster, 9 to 10 times faster. Okay. So this is about your SSD, guys. Hard disk and SSD difference is also important. Okay. Hard disk and SSD difference important. Okay. Hard disk and SSD both are for storing fast storage devices, storing operating system, applications and data, non-volatile memories only. Hard disk is a magnetic type of storages. SSD is a NAND type of storage. Hard disk data stores in the platter, SSD data stores in the chips. Compared to hard disk, SSD is a lighter the weight, easy to transport, smaller the sizes. Okay, smaller sizes. Okay. Faster data transmission and read and write of data also. Okay, and because of the speed, that means operating system application. So more suitable for operating system and application for faster booting and faster application responses. Cost-wise, little different. SSDs are little costlier than hard disk nowadays. In a hard disk, we have a SATA interface. Hard disk, we have as a SATA interface. Hard disk that way. In a SS with SSDs, SATA interface SSDs, and NVMe M.2 type of SSDs also available. So SATA interface SSDs compatible with the SATA interface hard disk, their interfaces. Okay. This MV M.2 type of SSDs directly inserted on the motherboard, which is much faster than compared to SATA interface hard SSDs. Okay. So these are the difference between hard disk and SSDs. The next is we are going to see about a boot processing, guys. Okay, take a small break and then we'll start discussing about a